Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most incredible pieces of technology you'll ever own, your very own eye. We're going to break down exactly how this amazing little thing lets you see the world in all its vivid detail. So let's get right into it.
Have you ever just stopped and thought about it? How do you recognize a friend's face from all the way across a field? Or see all the different shades in a beautiful sunset? And why do so many of us need glasses to see things clearly? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today. So here's the game plan for our journey. First, we'll see why your eye is basically a super advanced camera. Then we'll follow a single ray of light on its amazing trip into your eye. After that, we'll find out how your brain actually creates the picture you see. And finally, we'll check out what happens when our focus gets a bit fuzzy and, more importantly, how we can fix it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a really simple but powerful idea that's going to help us understand everything else. Just think of your eye as a high-tech, living camera, snapping pictures of the world around you every single moment you're awake.
Yep, just like a camera, your eye has a lens to focus light, and it has a light-sensitive screen in the back to capture an image. But as we're about to find out, the team-up between your eye and your brain creates a system that is way more advanced than any camera ever made. So how does this whole thing actually work? Well, to really get it, we're going to follow a single ray of light on its incredible split-second journey from the world outside right through your eye and all the way to your brain. The journey kicks off the moment light hits the cornea. That's the eye's clear protective window. It immediately starts to bend the light. From there, the light goes through the pupil, that little black dot right in the center. The colored part, the iris, controls how big or small the pupil gets, letting in just the right amount of light, kind of like a camera shutter. Next up, the light hits the flexible lens, which does the fine-tuning, focusing it perfectly onto the retina at the very back of the eye. Think of the retina as the movie screen where the picture appears. And finally, the optic nerve acts like a data table, zapping all that visual info straight to the brain for processing.
Okay, exam alert. Remembering this sequence is absolutely crucial. Just lock this flow in your mind. Cornea, then iris, then lens, then retina, and finally, the brain. It's the literal path that light takes, and it's an easy way to remember the order of all the main parts.
So an image has just formed on the retina, but how in the world does that simple projection become the rich, colorful 3D world that we all see? Well, this is where the real magic happens, and there's a pretty surprising twist coming up. Get ready for this, because it's a little mind-bending. Because of the way our lens works, the image that gets projected onto your retina is actually upside down and backwards. Seriously, right now as you're watching this, the world is being painted on the back of your eyeballs completely inverted.
So if the image is upside down, why isn't our whole world inverted? Well, it's because we don't just see with our eyes, we actually see with our brain. The optic nerve sends that messy upside-down signal, and our amazing brain instantly flips it, corrects it, and presents us with the clear, stable, right-side-up picture of the world we're all used to. It's incredible.
So what's on the retina that does all this hard work? It's covered with millions of microscopic light detectors called photoreceptors. These are the special cells that turn light energy into electrical signals that the brain can understand. And they come in two main types, rods and cones.
Think of it like this. Rods and cones are two different teams. Rods are your night vision specialists. They are super sensitive and work great in dim light, but they only see in black, white, and shades of gray. That's why it's so hard to see colors in a really dark room. Cones, on the other hand, are your daytime team. They need bright light to work, but in return they give us all the sharp details and, of course, all the vibrant colors we see.
So how do our cones manage to see millions and millions of colors? Well, here's the secret. They don't. We only have 3 types of cones, and each one is sensitive to just one color of light, either red, green, or blue. That's it. Just like your TV screen, your brain takes the signals from just these 3 types of cones and brilliantly mixes them together to create every single color you can possibly imagine. Pretty cool, right?
Now, as many of us know all too well, the eye isn't always perfect. Sometimes that delicate focusing system gets a little bit off, and that leads to some very common vision problems. So let's take a look at what happens when our focus is lost. First up, we've got myopia, which you probably just call nearsightedness. If you have myopia, you can see things up close perfectly fine, but stuff far away gets really blurry. This usually happens because the eyeball itself is a little too long, which causes the light to focus in front of the retina instead of right on it.
So how do we fix it? Simple. We use a concave lens. This is the minus lens in your glasses prescription.
What it does is spread the light out just a tiny bit before it enters your eye. This helps push the focus point backward so it lands perfectly on the retina, giving you clear vision for distant objects.
And on the flip side, we have hyperopia, or farsightedness. With this one, things up close are blurry, while things far away might be clearer. It's basically the opposite problem. The eyeball is a little too short, so the light isn't bent enough, and it tries to focus behind the retina.
And you guessed it, the solution is the opposite type of lens. A convex lens, which is a plus lens, bends the light more powerfully. This pulls the focal point forward so it lands right where it's supposed to, directly on the retina. It's a really smart fix for a super common issue.
And really quickly, two other common issues to know about are astigmatism and cataracts. Astigmatism is when your cornea isn't perfectly round, more like a football shape, and that causes blurriness at pretty much all distances. And cataracts happen when the eye's natural lens gets cloudy over time, which makes your vision feel like you're looking through a foggy window.
All right. Wow, we've covered a ton of ground. Let's just take a quick moment to run through everything one more time to make sure all these key ideas are locked in nice and tight. When you boil it all down, everything we talked about fits into three big ideas. First, the basic structure of the eye and the path that light takes. Second, the whole process of vision, especially the roles of the retina and the brain. And third, the common defects like myopia and hyperopia and how we correct them.
Now this table, this is your best friend for exams. It puts the two main defects right next to each other, nice and clear. Myopia, eyeballs too long, you fix it with a concave lens. Hyperopia, eyeballs too short, you fix it with a convex lens. If you can remember this chart, you're golden.
And finally, let's just make sure we all avoid these common mix-ups. Remember, the eye is like the camera, but the brain is the processor. It does the real work. Don't forget that weird fact. The image on the retina is inverted. And please, please don't mix up your lenses. Myopia gets the concave or minus lens.
And there you have it, the amazing science of how you see the world. From a simple ray of light to a rich, colorful, detailed picture, it is just an incredible process. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you understand the magic behind your own vision, what's something you're going to look at a little more closely today?